Are you living in Louisville, Kentucky and looking for some delicious food? You may already be aware that Louisville is home to some amazing restaurants. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the hottest restaurants in Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome back to Life in Louisville. I'm Katie Skeen, a local realtor here in Louisville, Kentucky. And on my channel, we discuss all the things related to moving to and living in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're moving here or you're living here, you're interested in more information about Louisville, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you'll be notified every Friday when a new video comes out. I'm going to be sharing with you about the hottest restaurants in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're living in Louisville, this is a video you won't want to miss. You may already be aware that according to Apartment Advisor, they ranked Louisville as the top foodie city in the entire United States. That's right, the best food is right here in Louisville, Kentucky. That's why I decided to make a video about it. And if you've watched any of my videos, you're well aware that I love to give all of my restaurant recommendations and food recommendations just as a side to every topic that I'm talking about. So I thought, why not go ahead and make a video about the hottest restaurants in Louisville, Kentucky. Now this list is my hottest list. So all of these are gonna be on top 10, top 20 that you'll see in Louisville for a lot of different rankings and lists that are out there, but these are my personal favorites. I've broken down my favorite restaurants into 3 categories: fast casual, table service, and fine dining. So let's start with fast casual. The first restaurant I want to make sure to mention to you in the fast casual category is Taco Luchador. Taco Luchador has expanded over the last couple of years. They actually have 3 locations. One on Baxter Avenue, one out in J-Town. They've just recently added one down near the Iroquois Park neighborhood. This is a great restaurant to pop in for lunch or for dinner. You can even get carry out at all of these locations. If you're looking for something, nicer than fast food, but still convenient, this is a place you'll want to consider. My favorite food there by far are the tacos, and the 2 tacos that I recommend are the carnitas taco and the Baja fish taco. I also always get chips and queso. I mean, who doesn't like to eat chips and queso as a side? And then lastly, something you probably wouldn't think to get is the elote callejero. Now, am I pronouncing that correctly? I'm not sure. So tell me in the comments, did I pronounce that correctly? The elote callejero is actually street corn. It's caramelized corn on the cob, smothered with mayonnaise, Mexican spices, and cajota cheese. Yum, it's delicious. The second fast casual restaurant that I want to mention to you is Feast Barbecue. It has 2 locations, one down in the New Lou district and one out in J-Town. Now they have a unique spin on barbecue. They have a really delicious vinegar-based barbecue sauce. They have a lot of different kinds of barbecue sauce, but that vinegar-based one is my favorite. And when I go there, I typically get the pulled pork. It's been smoked all day and it has some crispy parts to it. It's really delicious. I'll also love the simple salad and the sweet potato. Now I will say my sister-in-law is from Texas, and apparently in Texas they have some really good brisket. So when she went to Feast Barbecue and she got the brisket, she wasn't terribly pleased with it. I think it's because she's used to Texas barbecue, and this is going to be an interesting twist on Texas barbecue. So if you're looking for traditional barbecue, I don't know if this will be the place for you, but if you can open up your mind to new barbecue possibilities, then I would definitely recommend that you check out Feast Barbecue. Let's check out our table service recommendations. The first table service restaurant I want to recommend to you is Mojitos Tapas. Now, this might not always end up in like a top 10 or 20 restaurants in the city of Louisville, but to me, it is one of my top all-time favorite restaurants, and it's been consistently good for years and years and years. It is located out on the east end of Louisville in Holiday Manor Shopping Plaza. I want to tell you some of my favorite things to get there. I'm going to be honest with you, I can't pronounce any of them, so I'm just going to tell you a short description of what they are. Hopefully you'll be able to figure out on the menu what I'm talking about. If you're not familiar with tapas styles restaurant, tapas are just small plates. So when you go, you're not necessarily just ordering one meal for yourself. What they recommend is that you order several of these tapas small plates to share, and that's what my family always does. We always start with the plantain chips and guacamole as a starter. Then we move on to their salad. I guess it's the house salad. It has figs in it. So if you like figs, look for that on the menu. It's so good. After that, we move on to this delicious shrimp dish. It comes in a skillet, and it is shrimp that's been cooked and marinated in garlic and butter. And then they give you bread, and you put like a mayonnaise sauce and salsa with the shrimp and the bread and the garlic. It is so good. It melts in your mouth. It's delicious every single time. And lastly, we get the steak with the chimichurri and these little frites, and that is really delicious as well. I love chimichurri sauce. If you're not familiar, it's a sauce made from both cilantro and parsley, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. And let's not forget, at Mojitos, you might want to try a mojito because they're delicious as well. The next table service restaurant I want to recommend to you is Mussel and Burger Bar. They have 2 locations, one downtown and one out in the J-Town area. You may have noticed there's a theme of restaurants in J-Town. Somehow they got all the good restaurants out there. Now, I'm a person who once I get something I like, I stick with it. So I have stuck with these 2 items on the menu at Mussel and Burger Bar. The first thing that we get is the blue cheese beer pancetta mussels. Mussels aren't for everybody, but my family really likes mussels. So we start off with that as an appetizer. If you like blue cheese, the broth has a lot of blue cheese in it. It has a really strong flavor. It has little bits of bacon in there. And then of course they give you the French bread to dip in there, and the broth is just delicious. And then we also get a CEO burger. So this is my favorite burger. I always get it medium rare, and they cook it to perfection. The CEO burger has Gruyere cheese, truffle aioli, caramelized onions, house mixed greens, and oven roasted tomatoes. It is absolutely delicious. Also, they have amazing French fries, sweet potato fries, and they have a smoked pineapple sauce. They also have a sweet bourbon sauce. So if you're getting the French fries, make sure to ask for the different sauces because you definitely want to try those out. And then they have big steak cut fries, and they also have just traditional size fries as well. You can't go wrong with any of the French fries. The last category of restaurant that we want to talk about today is fine dining. Some think we've saved the best for last, but it just depends on what kind of mood you're in and what kind of atmosphere and price point that you're wanting to be. The first restaurant I always recommend for fine dining is Jack Fry's. It is an iconic Louisville restaurant. It's been around forever, and it's been known consistently for its great food. It's located in the Highlands neighborhood near the Baxter-Bardstown intersection. And when we go to Jack Fry's, we always get escargot. Some people think that's totally disgusting, but it's garlic and butter and bread and snails. What's not to like? The second thing I always recommend is the shrimp and grits. It's a little bit of a twist. It's not going to be so Louisiana style and Cajun. It's a little bit less intense than that, but it is just warm and satisfying, and it just melts in your mouth. The last thing I always recommend at Jack Fry's is their filet. Now the filet is special because they have a sage beurre blanc sauce. Different than a traditional béarnaise, which is made with tarragon, this is made with sage. And I'm a big béarnaise fan. I love it. My mom always made it for our fillets growing up, and I never thought I could like something as much as béarnaise, but the sage beurre blanc is amazing. Absolutely delicious. So great job, Jack Fry's. The next fine dining restaurant that I want to recommend to you is Jeff Ruby's. This restaurant actually comes to us in Louisville from Cincinnati, Ohio. So thank you, Cincinnati. We appreciate you sending us Jeff Ruby's our way. Now this is just a classic a la carte steak restaurant. They're known for having the best choice cuts of meat. Their service is impeccable. You won't be sorry about the service that they're providing for you. One interesting thing that they have at Jeff Ruby's is they have sushi. Now that's not traditional at a fine dining steak restaurant, but we have actually found that we love the sushi at Jeff Ruby's. The sushi roll that I would recommend to you is the Ruby roll. What makes it unique is they actually add filet mignon to the top of the sushi. So they've brought kind of their steak and their sushi together to make this delicious roll. One other thing I'll mention to you is the bread and butter. I know that sounds ridiculous, but everybody knows that a nice warm piece of bread with delicious butter is absolutely amazing. They bring you 2 different kinds of butter. One of them has some spices in it, and I love that spice butter. It's really delicious. Now lastly, the reason that everyone goes to Jeff Ruby's is for the steak. I prefer filet mignon, so that's what I always get. I typically get it topped with some sort of seafood option, so I might get Oscar, which has the lump crab meat and the asparagus, or I might get it with a lobster tail on top and the drawn butter. So many great options. Of course, like I said, my favorite is béarnaise, so I have to get béarnaise, and I'm sorry, but Jeff Ruby's, your béarnaise is not as good as my mom's. I think that growing up, you just get used to things, and my mom has the best béarnaise out there. Well gosh, this video has made me so hungry. I think I'm gonna pick a restaurant to go to for lunch. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you've enjoyed this video on the hottest restaurants in Louisville, Kentucky. So if you're living in Louisville and you're interested in more information, be sure to check out my video, Living in Louisville, the Cost of Living. Or if you're moving to Louisville, Kentucky, you might consider my video, Moving to Louisville, 12 Things You Need to Know. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.